Welcome to the weekly share of the Zera Shimshon. It is Rosh Chodesh Adar Aleph as I speak, Thursday night, and it's Lamed Shvat. Okay, there's 2 days Rosh Chodesh. Anyway, the kids I was thinking of doing a piece in English originally, but then I decided to look it up where it is in Mishpatim. In the Zera Shimshon, he has a longer piece. I'm going to cut it short, but because there's much more content over here than I felt there was in giving in English, and you'll see, if you look it up, you'll see what I mean. Okay. Anyway, this is on the pasuk in Shvi of Mishpatim, Loisiya Mishakelo ve'akara be'artzecha. So you won't have any barren women or in your land. It could be including the animals also. Es mispar yamecha amale, and the number of your days I will fulfill. Es emosri ashalach lefonecha, my fear I will send in front of you. Ha'moisi es ha'am, es kol ha'am asher tavei bohem, and I will kill everybody, all the nations that come against you. And asati es kol ha'evecha elecha oiref. And I will put all of your enemies. I'll let you have only see the backside. Okay, so there's a lot of diukim here in this pasuk, and I'm going to do a little piece, part of this Mishpatim in Zera Shimshon, and it starts in Tes. He said, Yesh. He said the Gemara on Rosh Hashanah, Daf Tes Zion, says there's supposed to be, I don't know which, if you have an addition here, but it's a mistake here. Should be Arba Dvorim, Omer B'Yitzchak, Arba Dvorim Ikarim Gezardino Shaladam. There are 4 things that rip up the Gezardin of a person. And they are, and he doesn't mention it here, but I went to the Gemara, and they are, number 1, Tzedakah, Tza'aka, screaming out to Hashem, Shinui Hashem, changing your name, Shinui Maisa. And others say, Yesh Oimrim Shinui Makam, changing your place. Now we're going to be concentrating on this concept of changing your location. Okay, it says in the Gemara, Shinui, like we find by Avram Avinu, and he brings the pasuk that when Avram Avinu was told to go to Eretz Yisrael so they could have children. Ve'idach, what about the others? The other 4 things? Tzedakah, Tza'aka, Shinui Hashem, Shinui Maisa. In Schusa de Eretz Yisrael, the Ahanyale. So it's in the merit of living in Eretz Yisrael that it helps him. But Omar Akasav Letia Mishakela ve'akara be'artzecha Dafka. So it's Dafka, you will not have be barren and not be able to bear children. Dafka when you're in Eretz Yisrael. Now we know, okay, so there's a lot of people that can't have children and they live in Eretz Yisrael. That's the Gezar Din. I don't know how that fits into this pasuk, but when we get to the Olam Amos, we'll have the teretz. I'm not looking for it sooner than that. Okay, v'hainu mishum zuchus Eretz Yisrael, because of the merit of Eretz Yisrael. Sometimes people will blame one thing and not see that they have now 10 other things wrong with them. Okay, or 10 other things in the previous life that they don't even know about, that why they can't have children. Well, anyway, El shadayin kasha im zuchus yeshivas Yisrael nikra zuchus gadol l'shanis hamazal shalabanim. So he quoted before the Gemara that there's that unless you have a b'suchus gadol, you don't have a possibility to change your mazel. That seems to be a contradiction in the Gemara. The Gemara on Ma'id Katan says, "Bane chaya mizayne," right? Your children, your life, minimize your health, and length of your life, and mezayne and your parnasa is not bezchusa tayla milsa ela bezmazla talimasa. It's not depending on your merits; it's depending on your mazel. And at the end of Gemara Shabbos it says, and there's a taisvus there that says on yidei schus gadol mishtana hamazel. So if you can do a big merit, so that you can change the mazel. well, here it's mashma that it's not depending on, it's depending only on mazel and not on schus. So how are we gonna answer this? Okay, how are you gonna compare? How are we gonna fulfill these promises? Right? Anyway, so go on with this piece. Elo shadain kasha im zchus yeshivas Eretz Yisrael nikas zchus gadol l'shanis hasamal shalbanim. If the merit of living in Eretz Yisrael changes a person's mazel that be able to have children, hayalei lehaikar is zchus gadol af lechayah ben zayneh. So what happened to the other two things, which is his livelihood and his health, the length of days? So if living in Eretz Yisrael is not a big merit to live longer and to have good parnasa, so Ma'ishna ben Banai, why is it applicable? Why does it give us chus gadol for having children? No. The ledavar zemishtana mazel. For that, living in Eretz Yisrael will change his mazel. Yesh lo'imar de la'olam hakadosh baruch hu moeded mida keneged mida. Okay, and this is a rule in general that a lot of people forget about, that God judges a person mida keneged mida. Whatever he does in measure, he gets measure for measure. That's how they translate it into English. Perak Yudal Gesuvas, it says, Amrinin, Kol Adar be'Eretz Yisrael doime kemishi yesh le'alaka. Anybody who lives in Eretz Yisrael is like he has a God. It's tangible. You could feel it here. Okay? Kol Adar b'chutz la'artz doime kemishi ein le'alaka. And anybody who lives in chutz la'artz as if he doesn't have God. Shenemar, it says, Laseis lachem es Eretz Canaan leyos lachem leloikim. Is it giving you Eretz Yisrael that you should have a God? But the Perak Vav, the Vivamais, the Perak Tav Samach Daled, Amin and Kol Mi She'ino Isig V'Piri V'Rivya Goyim L'Shechina She'Tistalik B'Yisrael. Anybody who is not engaged in being fruitful and multiplying, having children, in other words, causes the Shechina to disappear from Klal Yisrael. How do we know this? It says, L'yos l'chol l'elakim l'zaracho acharecho. That's a pasuk in Breshis. B'zman she'zarecho acharecho, as long as you have children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren and great-grandchildren, whatever, that go out and on, the Shechina is shoyreh. Ein zarecho acharecho. If you don't attempt to have children, then the Shechina is not there. Where is the Shechina going to be dwelling on the wood and the stones in Eretz Yisrael? So somebody who lives in Eretz Yisrael, he causes the dwelling of the Shechina. How does that happen? They're having children. Therefore, we've got to be forced to say that it changes his mazel. Okay? Therefore, having children and by living in Eretz Yisrael is considered a great merit. But the other two things, which is parnasa and his life, means his length of his days, that doesn't necessarily make a difference. Therefore it says, after that pasuk, they shouldn't have anybody that should be barren in Eretz Yisrael. They should change his mazel. Kasav es mispar yamecha amale, b'li shinui mazel. This word says there, another pasuk is the number of your days I will fulfill, without changing the mazel. Kedei shelo yinamar kishem shemishtana hamazel bebanim kach yishtana b'chayim. So just like it works by having children, it says shinui mazel. When you come to Eretz Yisrael, you have children. So you think the same thing will applicable with his life and his parnasa. Akas of sidrum lefiyat tzarich. Shebetchila adam tzarich lemezainas v'achar kach labanim v'achar kach lachayim aruchim. So it arranges it in order what he needs. At first, a person needs to have livelihood, right? The parnasa, and then he needs children, and then afterwards he gives the long life. V'zeo ovayrach es lachmecho es leithiha mashakelo es bispar yamecho amale. I will bless your bread, in other words, whatever you make in your parnasa, therefore, and you will not have be barren, and the number of your days I will fulfill. The Eitzel HaMizaynes Ksiv says v'hasiroisi machla mikirbecha the fishahu inyan talavi mizaynes. Okay, so now we remove the sickness from you, because that's dependent on your mizaynes, on your food. People think food is not going to heal you, but Hippocrates says otherwise. And that's the basis of all medicine, modern medicine, that they forget about. That all of your medicine, all of your food is your medicine. So, I'm not going to go on that. Anybody who knows me knows I can talk for an hour about that alone. Okay, Machle Zumara, but I'm not quoting myself, I'm quoting the Zera Shimshon, who lived 300 years ago, okay? The Machala is the Gemara Bava Kama, Daf Tzadik Beis, Omid Beis, says, what is Machala? It is word for Mara. Mara means the bile. The bile helps digest the food, okay? The Gemara says, Shepei Gimel Chaloyim Tuluyim Bohem. That are 83 different sicknesses depend on the bile. In other words, it's caused by not having enough bile or being processed quickly. V'kulam pas shachris mevatlas. The Gemara says, Sarah, this says there that if you eat bread and a little bit of water in the morning, that takes care of that problem. Yeah. And furthermore, the Gemara in Ksuvas says, meaning the refuah kimizainis, that refuah is like having proper nourishment. So you'll be healthy by the way you eat. He says earlier that he could make a mistake by thinking and not knowing what's right, with the right way to eat, and what's not the right way to eat. That, anybody knows that the Rambam spent a lot of time on what foods to eat and what foods not to eat. So he is a doctor par excellence, and that's what he extended his energies on. Anyway, everybody should have a wonderful Shabbos, and Bez Hashem should be a Mazel Dika month. Meshenichnes Adar Marbin B'Simcha. So we'll have a lot of simchas for everybody. And everybody have a wonderful Shabbos. Kol Tov.